Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, Shows World.
Welcome to Shows World, gamers. Josh here, and as this week draws to a close, I wanted to take a moment to look at this week's news stories, gaming announcements, and this week's new video game releases. If this is your first time on the channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button to join in on the fun. Alright gamers, let's kick off this week in review with a few news stories. Now Monday, we did get the announcements for the nominations for the Game Awards presented by Jeff Keighley and taking place in a few weeks on December 7th. The big question was what the 6 nominations would be for Game of the Year after what has been just a year loaded with some huge hit games. And the 6 nominations are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Meaning all 6 nominations ended up being sequels, with no original games even being nominated. Now, we also had a Nintendo Direct this week in the form of an Indie World, where we got a look at some upcoming indie games coming to the Nintendo Switch. The event kicked off strong with Shantae Advance Risky Revolution, an unreleased Game Boy Advance game in the super fun side-scrolling action platforming Shantae series coming in 2024. The rest of the 20-minute long showcase was loaded with a variety of different and unique games from studios from all over the world. With games like Planet of Lana, which I really enjoyed. I actually did a playthrough of that on the Xbox, so I'll link that at the end of this video. Definitely check out that game. The game's a blast. Also, Core Keepers and Blade Chimera, which we'll talk about later in this video, being the high points for me. Overall, it was just kind of an okay showcase, but there was nothing that was just over the top that really pushed this into being a super exciting showcase. Now, we also did get the release of the new PlayStation 5 Slim models, both the digital only, which a disc drive can be added to later, and the price of that was $449.99, and the version that comes with the detachable disc drive for $499.99. Now, you do have to buy the stand separate for $30, which it's just kind of strange. Now, the system is much smaller than the original PlayStation 5. It is available right now in stores, and there is even a Spider-Man bundle available. It's not real hard to find right now. I've pretty much seen it everywhere, but Black Friday's right around the corner. Thanksgiving's next week. So if you're looking at getting this for the holidays, I would get it now. I wouldn't wait. It's probably going to be hard to find after next weekend. Next up, let's take a look at some gaming announcements. Now, Core Keeper was announced at the Nintendo Indie World Showcase. The game is scheduled to release next summer on the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, or Xbox Series systems. The game is a sandbox adventure game that can be played single player or up to 8-player multiplayer, where you mine relics and resources to build your base, craft new equipment, survive, and power up the core. Now, Blade Chimera was also shown off during the Indie Showcase with a 2024 release date. This is a post-apocalyptic 2D side-scroller that looks like a lot of fun, and it's definitely one of the high points of the showcase for me. I'm definitely looking forward to getting more information on this title. I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Now, Robots at Midnight received a reveal trailer showing off what looks to be a promising post-apocalyptic 3D third-person action-adventure game where you play as a young girl taking on and battling evil robots while befriending other, more friendly robots. The game shows releases coming to the PC and Xbox Series systems, but no release date has been announced. Resistor is being explained as a turbocharged, narrative-driven adventure RPG featuring open-world exploration, stunt-infused racing, and explosive vehicular combat, which, that sounds pretty awesome. And we got a gameplay reveal trailer this week, giving us an idea of what that may actually look like. The game has been announced for the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems, with no release date just yet, but a 2024 release date is expected. And this game looks pretty cool. It looks a lot different than anything else out there. This is another game I'm definitely going to keep my eye on.
Commands to
Alright gamers, let's finish up with this week's new video game releases. Now, Super Mario RPG released this week exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is a full remake of the Super Nintendo game, which was the first role-playing game starring Mario characters, and it was made in a partnership between Nintendo and Squaresoft. This version of the game has been completely updated and overhauled, with updated graphics, sound, and even gameplay elements to make it feel even better than the original version, which is already a classic game. While this game won't have the same widespread appeal of the adventure platforming gameplay style of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the game does offer a fun story and classic turn-based RPG gameplay with some modern gameplay elements that keeps it feeling fresh, and I definitely suggest playing this game if you do enjoy turn-based gameplay. You're just going to have a ton of fun with it. Now, Persona 5 Tactica is yet another spin-off from the Atlas/Sega 2016 RPG Persona 5. It just continues to give us awesome games. This time, we are getting a tactics-based role-playing game with an all-new story and the return of fan-favorite characters with some brand-new allies as well as foes. The game released this week on the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, the PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series systems, and it also got a Day 1 release on Game Pass. Now, Hogwarts Legacy had a staggered release with the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series systems, and PC versions releasing first. Then a few months later, we got the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions released. Well, after many delays, this week we finally have the much anticipated Nintendo Switch release of the game. The game is an open-world action-adventure role-playing game where you play as a Hogwarts student that takes place 100 years before the Harry Potter films. I played the game when it initially launched on the Xbox Series X and would consider it one of the best games this year. And this is definitely by far the best Wizarding World game ever created. Now, The Last Faith released this week on the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox One, and Xbox Series systems. If you're a fan of classic 2D Metroidvania-style games, well, you've been eating well. Indie developers have been delivering some great experiences in the genre, and The Last Faith fits that bill. The game resembles a Castlevania-style game with a dark Gothic style, but it really turns up the difficulty to a Soulsborne style, as it thrives on merciless and precise combat with a huge range of weapons, firearms, and custom executions at your disposal. Now, Bluey the video game also released this week on the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox One, and Xbox Series systems. The Australian Disney Junior animated show is an absolute hit among young kids all over the world. The game does have the original voice actors from the show lending their voices to the game. And if you have a young kid who is a fan of the show, this game will be a surefire hit if they find it under their tree this year. Alright gamers, that concludes this week in review for the week ending on November 17th. The week started with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer having kind of a rough launch, with some maps having to be temporarily pulled down to fix spawn point issues. Then, we got the nominations for this year's Video Game Awards presented by Jeff Keighley, and the week ended with the new PlayStation Portal remote play device releasing to, well, some mixed reviews with some reports of connection issues. But let me know anything we may have missed in the comments, and thanks for joining us today, gamers. Shoge World, out.